conference speaker up there. Then you need to put it on your conference speaker.
Ready? Can you hear us?
They're going to put it on a conference call.
Okay, so they say you can hear me. Okay.
And go ahead and hang yours up.
Do you want this to record?
Yeah, please. Let me know when you're ready.
Okay, the people are coming in right now, so it'll be just a moment.
There's going to be a lot more people coming in too, just so you know.
This won't keep ready.
What's the reason for not moving it upstairs? Can't speak now.
The guy in the middle here.
What's the reason for not having it upstairs where people can attend this?
We're making it available for everyone to hear.
But what if they want to speak?
No, there's a lot of people upstairs.
This is
like
not a,
to
this is not a
look
public
at your face and
hearing.
know who
This
you
is
are.
this is for us to deliberate between ourselves and decide on the matter.
And you didn't
Are we
talk
ready?
about it. You know, you didn't talk about it prior since last time we were here or any of that.
Each of us has been reviewing it.
Oh. I'm just curious. I'm new to politics and stuff like that. You know, I'm just interested in, you know, what's happening in the country and all.
Yeah, this is an issue that we talk about to you, to people here. I mean, it's not an issue that we are quiet about. I mean, I want to get all the information I can on it.
Okay, Carlos, you're on the record, and it looks like everyone's here.
All right, thank you. Today, the three of us have worked about the last 2.5, 3 weeks. We worked with attorneys, University of Idaho Law School.
You're going to have to speak up. It's really hard to hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, if you speak up.
The mic is on the sausage.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
And if you guys want to shut the door, it'll be
It's not
easier.
that mic. It's on the sausage.
Oh, this?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I'll start again. Three of us, the commissioners, have reread what Jason has brought in. We also have consulted the University of Idaho Law School. We've consulted with outside attorneys, and we have come to a decision. The decision is we have a document here that we have put forth for our signature. Jason will have a copy of it, and that is our stand on this particular subject. I'll refer to Commissioner Smith.
Mr. Chairman, I understand well, and I appreciate all the input that's come to the commissioners on this issue. The concern that, you know, constitutional rights are or may be infringed upon by the NDAA law. I've read it many, many times. I've looked at the Supreme Court decisions from the Civil War. There's also one in 1952 that speaks directly to it and goes through it. And I think the law definitely leaves something to be desired as far as clarity of ensuring constitutional rights. That being said, you know, it's been stated a couple times that we, the commissioners, are the representatives to ensure those constitutional rights. Well, I take seriously my swearing in that I will uphold constitutional rights. However, I am not the representative for the federal legislation that goes on. Though that is the legislative districts that we vote on individual, and we have representatives in those offices. That being said, I am not at all opposed to sending a concern, a letter, to say that that law needs to be changed. And in my opinion, as I stated last time, to make a resolution and declare something as illegal in this county, which I have no jurisdiction over, federal law, we have no jurisdiction over. That's why there's federal courts to uphold federal law, and we don't have one of those. And I have nothing to do with federal courts. We have a district court which takes care of the local ordinances and laws that are set forth here in the state. So, Mr. Chairman, I propose, I drafted a letter to our congressional delegation, all the members of our congressional delegation, stating our concern that we feel that there are issues with Section 1021 and 1022 of the National Defense Authorization Act that need to be modified so that those protections are completed, which I think, personally, and that's up whatever you decide, that go beyond just a resolution. This is, you know, we are making a statement that those things need to be modified in order to ensure the constitutional rights of our residents. So, we can discuss that further, but that's what I'd like to see.
Commissioner Rico.
Well, first off, I'd like to thank everyone for being here, showing your support. Something that apparently is very near and dear to you.
We can't hear you.
I'd like to thank everyone for being here. I appreciate everyone taking the time to come and visit with us today. As Commissioner Smith has stated, there has been a considerable amount of time spent reviewing the documents that have been presented to us, talking about how that affects or would be presented. I think one of the biggest discussions about this is that at the local level, we can't supersede, you know, what state and federal government dictates. But one of the comments that was made in the last meeting was that we have to start someplace. And I can relate to that about our federal government and how in many cases it's overstepped its bounds. And so I'm very sympathetic to the cause and the thoughts in regard to that. And so I will make a motion that we go ahead and accept the NDAA resolution restoring constitutional governance.
Good. We have a copy for each of our congressional delegations with,
Do we have a motion on the table here?
just a minute, Jason. What was that, Len?
Well, Mark made a motion that has not been seconded yet.
Okay.
And so I would guess I would second it for discussion. I am not in favor of it, but I'll second it for discussion. Mr. Chairman, as we received quite a exhaustive counsel legal opinion, the summation of that opinion is as follows. Other cities, such as Berkeley, California, frequently take positions on this manner, in this manner, which talks about federal laws as opposed to the local jurisdiction. Example, declaring recognition of Palestine as a state, but it does not have any legal significance. So, as I stated in our last meeting, I think we have too many ordinances, resolutions, and everything else on the books now, and I do not believe in doing things that mean nothing. That being said, a statement or a letter to our congressional delegation is a statement that I don't agree with the law, and it needs to be changed, and they are the representatives that have that power to make that change. This resolution that's before us now is essentially nullification that's been argued over since Jefferson and Madison times. And nullification by the states has never gone anywhere. It has been proven over and over again by the Supreme Court that the states cannot nullify the federal nullify the provisions in federal law. In this particular instances, the states have relinquished the right for national defense, and that's what this National Defense Authorization Act is. Not that I agree with it, but the states have given the right in Section 1 of the Constitution, Article 1, Section 8, they've given the right for national defense to the federal government. And we're not going to be dismantling other parts of the Constitution just because we don't agree with this one, in my opinion. So,
part of the information that we looked at, or at least that I looked at, was a BYU law review, and it was in part of the material that we had received from the county prosecuting attorney and some research that was done. And it clearly outlines that there have been numerous cases where, and actually in regard to this particular law review, I can't speak today, law review was specifically about the new Health Care Act. But I still feel strongly about our federal government and some of the things that we're being forced to do and do not agree with. And so I, again, will put the motion on the table to go ahead and approve this resolution for restoring constitutional governance. And I would like to go ahead and see those letters sent out to those individuals that we've specified.
motion's on the table.
I'll ask for a consent motion from each of the commissioners. Commissioner Rico has given his consent. Commissioner Smith?
Nay.
Aye. Commissioner Bilbao? Aye. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
I'd like to read the letter so that you all can hear it. It says, "Dear Senator Crapo," it's dear to all of them. As you are well aware, there is a significant concern with regard to some of the provisions of the National Defense Authorization Act, NDAA, passed by Congress. Sections 1021 and 1022 are of the most concern in that the potential exists that the language could be so broadly interpreted to violate constitutional rights. The Gem County Board of County Commissioners has reviewed these sections of the NDAA and request that you, as a representative in promulgating federal law, make changes to those sections so that there is clarity and definition given to the terms that allow for broad definition and the potential for unconstitutional infringement of rights. We recognize that this issue has been challenged and is being considered to be heard before the United States Supreme Court. We also recognize that this court has a right, exclusive right, to determine the constitutionality of federal law. However, whether the law is upheld or overturned, the language can and should be changed to ensure the protections of the Constitution are clear to all citizens of the United States, and especially the residents of Gem County. Specifically, the use of the term war needs to be defined and incorporated in these sections. It has become commonplace for federal officials to use the term for every cause that is in front of the personal focus. War on poverty, war on drugs, war on terrorism are examples of the prevalent use of a term which has confused an originally clear meaning. Detention without trial, transfer to a military deportation are matters of extreme importance and should only be exercised under the closest scrutiny with well-defined parameters incorporated into the law. We have sworn an oath, as you have, to uphold the Constitution of the United States. That document, as you are aware, provides for the protection from the types of actions as outlined above, except in extreme circumstances. Your prompt work to ensure that this section of the NDAA complies with the provisions of the Constitution is needed. Sincerely.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So, the vote was for the resolution and sending the letter, or the vote was for just sending the letter, just so
Send
we're
both.
all sure?
Both.
Both. Okay.
Awesome.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Very nice, very nice letter. Very
Thank
specific.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen.
You're welcome.
One day, somebody's going to have to say enough.